Figured why not do a little topic video here today and talk about the review bombing of Rings of Power and, the future of reviews and all that stuff here. So I was just reading this morning that Amazon has suspended reviews entirely for Rings of Power. And this is from Forbes. It says right here, Amazon is not amused about the fanboy wars that have surrounded its billion-dollar Lord of the Rings series, Rings of Power. Unlike its rival House of the Dragon, Rings of Power has become the latest front in the review bombing wars. Most recent, She-Hulk. This happens a lot, okay? The Rings of Power is getting slammed essentially everywhere that accepts fan reviews. On IMDb, which Amazon owns, right now it's at a 6.2 out of 10. On Amazon itself, it has nothing because Amazon has disabled reviews of the series entirely. Normally, when you watch an Amazon show or movie, whether it's an original or not, it will have user star ratings there. But Rings of Power has 0 reviews listed because Amazon didn't want to be broadcasting its premiere with the low score right next to it. What are fans mad about this time? Take your pick of reasons. It's a combination of racism, misogyny, and supposed unfaithfulness to the Tolkien's original work. Sometimes all 3 of these reasons are the same. Blah, 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 blah. I'm just kind of skipping down a little bit. Will Amazon turn reviews back on eventually? I don't know. Probably not for a while. But if you're seeing these scores and questioning the quality of the show, I take it into consideration who is submitting these reviews and why, and make up your own mind once you see it. It's just this whole thing, and this happened, recently with the She-Hulk and Mark Ruffalo going off. Oh, we need to call for changes to IMDb because people are not liking She-Hulk. And we need to, change the rating systems and this and that. Because, we wanted to see She-Hulk twerk by the 3rd episode. And all this shit and the whining and the crying and... What does that say about the future of reviews? What does that say, for people that want to write reviews and have criticisms, constructive criticisms, whether for a movie or a TV show, that we can't be honest, that, we can't have actual criticisms. No, we're just going to be thrown into the category of being negative. We're going to be weeded out because, we're review bombing. And, we're toxic fans and this and that. Or we're racist. Or we're misogynists because we didn't like Rings of Power. Or we didn't like She-Hulk and this and that. And again, what does that say about, reviews that, we can write a whole blog on why we did not like this movie. Or why this movie is bad. Why this show is bad, or why this movie sucks, or this show sucks, or, this and that. We could write a whole essay. We could write, a whole blog, or write our own review and give actual reasons that, actual reasons as to why. But no, we would just, be labeled negative, and we would be labeled as toxic, and we would be labeled as, sexist and misogynist, and you wonder why people are just tired of Hollywood, and we're tired of, the mediocrity. We're tired of the labeling, and we're seeing it more often. And, like I said before, Amazon, they own IMDb. I was looking at IMDb this morning, and, with the Rings of Power, and there's a lot of votes for, like you see on IMDb, the 1 to 10 scale. And you can kind of go into the demographics and all that a little bit. And, see how many people voted for a 1 or a 2 or a 3 or a 4. There's a lot of people that voted for 1 and a lot of people voted for 10. But it right now sits at a 6.2. And a lot of it seems like a lot of the negative reviews are put down at the bottom. What a surprise. What a surprise. Again, what does that say? If we have justified criticisms about a movie, we can't be negative because a lot of people worked hard on that movie. And supposedly Rings of Power did not cost $1 billion. Apparently it's a lot less than that. Oh, but the show looks good. It looks great visually. It has beautiful score, beautiful music, and this and that. It takes a whole lot more than visuals to impress me. How about actual good storytelling? How about actual good characters? For years it seems like, let's put agendas ahead of, great characters and great storytelling. And I'm just sick and tired of it. Hollywood is eating itself. I mean, it's been eating itself for years. But, lately with, this and the She-Hulk thing, and, this happened a few years ago with the Ghostbusters reboot. Remember when the trailer came out and YouTube, disabled the comment section? Remember that? Like, they hid the dislike bar and all that stuff. I swear, didn't they, for the Ghostbusters reboot trailer? The dislike bar was hidden. So, remember guys, we can't be negative. We can't be negative Nellies. We don't want to upset Mark Ruffalo because he will go off on Twitter again and call us out for giving She-Hulk bad ratings and, and why it sucks and why it's bad and why it's trash and all that. They don't want to stop and take a look at, themselves and what they're doing. They're doing nothing wrong. Everything is peachy keen to Mark Ruffalo and Disney and all that. They're doing nothing wrong. We are the problem. If we don't like it, we are the problem. We're the we are the ones being negative. We are review bombing because we didn't like She-Hulk, and that's why it's sitting at a 5.2 or whatever on IMDb. We are review bombing because we didn't like Rings of Power. Not that I really cared from the beginning about a Lord of the Rings series. But I know a lot of people are going to say, well, it looks great visually and beautiful score, beautiful scenery. It takes a lot more than that. If that's all it takes to enjoy or to like something and then everything else, gets brushed under the rug, then I'm sorry, your standards have fallen. If all it takes is great visuals and a great score, not characters that we can follow and invest in, not a story that, is great. We just gotta, focus on the visuals and, as long as it looks good, that's all it takes. Everything else is, brushed under the rug. But remember, guys, we can't be negative. We can't be toxic. We can't give anything bad reviews anymore. And that's the way Hollywood thinks. That's the way the industry thinks. That if we give a bad review, we're just review bombing. Just because something sucks doesn't mean it's review bombing. Newsflash to the people out there in the industry that think they're, immune to any criticism at all. Just because something's bad or it sucks does not mean it's review bombing. It means you put out a very shitty product. And, you take, okay, look at the guys, for example, the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, the first design that came out, people were crapping all over it. And what did they do? They didn't go on social media and Twitter and Instagram and YouTube and, called out people for not liking the first design of Sonic. You know what they did? They went back and redid it. And we actually got a good, enjoyable movie. And it was a fun movie. One of the better video game films. But, Amazon's not going to do that. Marvel's not going to do that. They just want us to embrace everything that comes out and, not give it a bad review. But, a lot of the people behind these shows, they can't develop great stories. They can't develop great characters. And we're seeing that more and more. But, we're negative. Remember, we can't give bad reviews anymore. We're just toxic fans that, we're just review bombing if we're given, bad reviews. Even constructive criticism's bad, y'all. Remember. And again, what does this say about the future of reviews? That, we can't be critical at all about certain movies and shows. That, we can't break down why and be honest. If every time we're going to be labeled, as, again, toxic and negative and every bad review and negative thought and review is going to be weeded out, then you know what? If that's the case, then Hollywood deserves to die. And you know what? It's going to come. If they're not going to die, then it's going to come back to. It's going to come back and hit him in the face, and it's just a matter of time. So, yeah, I mean, figured why not do this little video here. I haven't done a rant video in a while, but there you go. So I'll end it here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you soon.